There have been a lot of changes to set coins in the past few weeks. I think this is getting a lot bigger than most people are letting on. It will be one of the biggest changes in the history of money, and people should pay attention to it, especially when it comes to XRP. I think this will lead to the US. We should take it easy and talk about a lot of things after publicly accepting RLUSD and using all three Ripple assets, RLUSD XRP, and the US dollar to protect the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. Before the end of this movie, if you're new to the channel, you'll sign up. Hey everyone, my name is Nick. Let's start right away by talking about some of the most recent news. As I said before, Russia switched to fixed pieces on the 16th. The Russian Ministry of Finance wants to make its own safe cryptocurrency. It's important to note this change because it shows that steady coins are becoming more common. A lot of these, I think the laws about stable coins will be fully in place by the end of summer, in case you were wondering when they would go into action. Then, because of news like this from Russia, the value of stablecoins will not only go up, but also hit all-time highs. Major improvement, and not only that, but big banks and other important players will start to use them much more quickly as well. Before we get too excited though, let's make sure we follow the rules set by the EU's mecha laws. A Dutch banker named Ning wants to make a safe coin for the euro. More and more EU member states are putting their faith in projects like this. They want to release a steady coin that is controlled by a central bank. This is very important, and many important organizations such as Russia and Abu Dhabi are working together on Dirham Safe Coin. I must say I don't have the money to pay for this piece, but the UK just let overseas. I'll come back to this subject soon, but first I need to talk about MasterCard. They just recently said that they can handle all safe coins, which means that they can start the card with OKX. This is their new way to handle stablecoin deals around the world. People are becoming more and more interested in adopting stablecoins. The UK doesn't want to follow its own crypto rules, and I think the US will do the same with stablecoin makers from other countries. This is what I'm saying. Because Chad Steingraw wrote about this story from the beginning of April, we need to keep the US dollar safe and bring steady coins like XRP and RLUS to the US. You could ask Nick how they do this. Pay attention. They could do this for any reason besides DeFi. We are asking Congress to include these sensible ideas into any laws that deal with digital assets so that these big risks can be avoided as the system becomes an important part of U.S. infrastructure. To protect the U.S. dollar and government funds, strengthening stable coins should be the first thing that is done. That's the most important thing in the market. Second, platforms should only do business with other platforms that have rules in place to stop money laundering. Third, suppliers and middlemen should have to sign up so that they can be held accountable. This will encourage people to share knowledge freely and protect the public in general. 4, making sure there aren't any possible biases. 5th, it's important to have clear prices. 6, platforms and middlemen should be forced to actively look for and stop scams that make it illegal to use digital assets in retirement plans. Lastly, we talked about this briefly when it first came out, but the first point is very important because how important is the market for treasuries? ITM Trading asked, what will happen if China sells U.S. bonds not long ago, around the middle of April? It worries me a lot still. In a good way, they are right. China has a lot of power over U.S. treasuries, and they could use it to scare us with trade wars and tariffs. We know China doesn't like the tax game, but they've been going along with it anyway. Could China sell off its treasures? That's the question. We'll talk about this soon, but for now you can watch a movie from ITM Trading. I think they also put it on their YouTube page, so go ahead and watch it. You think China would tell other people this? Okay, so we're going to get rid of our money in reserves. Then why bother? Who are they going to send the money to? Are they going to sell them? Are we not going to buy them? Russia might want to buy some of those things. Someone in the world can afford to buy those awful clothes, which is a huge benefit of having a Japanese name, the world's main currency. That's the only thing I fear Trump is putting at risk. It's great that we can buy things and get services from other countries, but our money's now being spent on Nike shoes, t-shirts, chips, and other things. Trump may say what he wants, but we send more money, goods, and services abroad than ever before. We make more things than ever before, but we send a lot of money to other places. They will have to decide what to do with the money after that. Bonds are bought by the central bank with the money most of the time, but sometimes it gets taken by someone else who says, please let us buy your stocks. Because of this, those countries own 19% of our stock market. Are you sure that people from other countries aren't taking their money out of the market right now? It was their loss of faith that led to the crash, and they have no idea what will happen next. Investors move, stop, or pull back when they don't understand what's going on. We're going to dump your dollars to whom, but I don't care what China says because other places seem safer. Okay, let me ask you a question. They might have said something like, forget the dollars, we'll sell it for gold. Not only is China interested in buying, but they might cover it in gold first. The money has to go somewhere, though, because they still need to sell it. For instance, if they buy gold in London or Switzerland, they won't be able to bring it back to the U.S. because no one sells gold here. What's going on? Does China pose a risk to us? The people in this group think, oh yeah, we're not at all in danger. I believe that the U.S. is also worried about this. It doesn't matter if China sells off U.S. bonds. It's a big problem. It was made by the CEO of Uphold and used by the company. Thanks to decentralized finance and centralized security, simple coin makers could hold more than U.S. debt by 2030. They could even hold more than Japan or China's debt. To fight this, they will use set coins. It is more and more proof that by 2030, people who mint simple coins will own more than $1 trillion, 0 cents, in U.S. treasuries. This would put them on the same level as the biggest sovereign holder in the world right now. It would also be a new high for government debt. It seems a little crazy when you think about how much it has grown 10 times in just 5 years. I think it's very likely to happen, and it might happen sooner rather than later since steadycoins are becoming more and more famous. These are just a few examples of stable that I showed you. Coins, I think there are 5 or 10 more stories like that. It's crazy that we were just talking about how fixed coins now make up 1% of the world's money supply. This is only going to get bigger as more people, companies, and governments use stable coins. The area is growing really quickly.